we already got it. We already have, I feel good saying this, one of the best movies of the year. It's crazy. It's crazy that I'm saying it this early in the year, but I feel confident because this movie is so good. I'm not saying it's the best movie of the year. I'm not saying it's a 10 out of 10 flick. I have some issues with it. We're gonna go over it. But this film, dude, damn, I had a great time. This is The Gorge. It stars Anya Taylor-Joy, big fan. It stars Miles Teller, the guy's great, and it's directed by Scott Derrickson, one of the most underrated directors in horror right now, in horror just in general. I'd say I don't want to limit him just to horror. That's not really fair. I saw it early. I went to the Q&A with Scott Derrickson last night. I'm hyped for it. I'm gassed on it. I'm going to tell you all about it. No spoilers for the film. Don't worry about it, all right? I'm going to talk about the plot of the film very lightly because there's some really cool things here that I don't want to spoil. Pretty much, you have two mercenaries, we'll call them, all right? One of them, Anya Taylor-Joy, one of them, Miles Teller. Miles is over here. Anya's over here. There's this giant gorge, this giant, crevice, big ravine, gorge, if you will, in between them. They're both in separate towers by different countries, and they're like, okay, don't talk to each other, don't acknowledge each other, don't do anything. There's something down here, don't let it out, right? That's your only job. Just watch the gorge. Whatever's trying to escape, don't let it escape. All right, that's pretty much the plot of the film. I'm not going to go much further than that because what's inside the gorge? It's sick, dude. It's sick. Is this the best marketing for the gorge? Probably, because I will say the marketing for this film was not terrific. Anya Taylor-Joy is my favorite actress right now, and the fact this never popped up in my FYP, never popped up in my feed, gorge marketing, what are we doing? It is a Apple TV Plus film, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be in theaters, and if it is, you're gonna want to see it because I saw it on the big screen. It was sick. I want to talk about Scott Derrickson for a second because he's a director that I think should be a lot more popular. I think if you think about any big horror director in film right now, Scott Derrickson is putting out just as consistent work as all those directors. I don't think any of his films have really missed. Doctor Strange is an odd film in his filmography. It's a little out of place because it doesn't really fall into that horror category, but still, that first Doctor Strange film is a good time. I really like that film. But then you got Sinister, you got The Black Phone, you have The Exorcism of Emily Rose, all good films. And this one, I think I like it more than Black Phone. I think I like it more than Emily Rose, Doctor Strange. Sinister, I don't think I like it more than Sinister, but they're two completely different films because this film is not strictly horror. This film has a lot of romance. That's right. Damn, dude, these two actors, these two leads, oh, they're too likable, man. They're too charismatic. I don't like it, dude. It's not fair. People shouldn't be allowed to be like this. You fall in love with them. You fall in love with their relationship. They have a very interesting relationship. Light spoilers for the film. They are not supposed to talk to each other, but they do talk to each other, okay? And it's great, dude. There are so many moments in this film that just make you smile, that just warms your heart. People say that about horror. Oh, people don't like the characters. Characters aren't interesting. You care about these two, man. You care about these two. Scott Derrickson does such a good job of making you care about every character in this film. There's one guy, the guy that Miles Teller, he relieves him of his post. He was last year's Gorge watcher. That guy, dude, I loved him, and he's in a 5-minute scene, and I was like, damn, that dude's great. Can't wait to see what happens to him. He's gonna have a bright future ahead. They should give him a spin-off movie. He talked about it in the Q&A, Scott Derrickson, that this film is supposed to feel like a drive-in film. It's supposed to be a lot of fun, give you a blend of a lot of different genres, and I think this film does that. It's romantic, but it's also got action. It's a political thriller. The relationship between these two, going back to isolation and COVID, covering themes like that, covering this feeling of connection, this feeling of separation, but also like how you form relationships through that isolation and how meaningful those conversations and those relationships can still be as isolated as they are. I can't understate how much you're gonna love these characters. Anya Taylor-Joy has been crushing it. She's terrific. Everyone knows that. But for some reason, I feel like Miles Teller is still a little slept on. People are like, yeah, he has whiplash. And then they forget to acknowledge all of the really good films that he's been in. Just a few years ago, Top Gun Maverick, he's phenomenal in that. And he's phenomenal in this, dude. Miles Teller, don't sleep on the guy. He's one of the best young actors that we have. And for some reason, like I said, people tend to sleep on him. Oh man, there's romance in this movie? That's dumb. That's lame. No one told me about that. Don't worry, Scott Derrickson still brings some creepiness, some thrillerness, some horrorness to this film. And there are some unsettling moments. It reminded me of a lot of like these creepy, older, isolated films. It felt very like The Thing. It felt very like The Flood from Halo. I'm not spoiling what's inside the Gorge, but just like the atmosphere and that moment of what's inside, how's it gonna get out, why is it trying to get out, those early moments of the film, dude, sensational, dude. The first, I think, hour of this film, no diss to the second half of the film, the first hour of this film, dude, is near perfect, and I feel confident saying that. There's this moment where I don't want to spoil much else, but, and it's gonna sound kind of like weird, there's this moment where there's some music being played and Anya Taylor-Joy's dancing and Miles Teller's like, oh, I don't dance, like he's freaking Troy, or not Troy, who's Corbin Bleu from High School Musical? Oh no, I don't dance. Dude, that scene, phenomenal. Gonna be one of my favorite scenes of the year. I'm calling it now. Unless this year is like goes freaking crazy, like it's 2019 all over again. The chemistry, the atmosphere, how it's shot, everything about it, the build up to that moment, dude, phenomenal. That first hour of the film, sensational. The second half of the film, I could see, not even the second half, really like the third act, I could see people falling a little bit apart on. I have some issues with that third act personally. I think that's where the film doesn't necessarily falter, but there are some things that I have problems with to where I'm like not putting it up in like that 9 out of 10 category for a film, like that A+ category. But that's just me, and I think there are some people who won't have any issue with that. For me, it was, I'd say, a tiny bit anticlimactic for the end of the film. There is some CGI that's a little dodgy at the end, but largely this is a film that is very practical. It's very light on the CGI, and I really like that about this film. You can feel it in a lot of the different sets, and it's strange because it almost feels foreign to you at that point because we're so used to the CGI, we're so used to things like that. It feels a little odd, and he was talking about it also in this Q&A that they use this like augmented reality kind of situation. I don't want to botch it and, you know, describe it some way that's not, but it feels unique in some sense, but when they're actually on those sets, it feels really good. It feels great. And honestly, I just think you need to watch this film. I would say it's the first like must-watch film of the year. I think you're gonna like it. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait for it to be out for everyone else to watch it because you can't even watch it yet. I saw it early. Kind of a flex, not gonna lie. But when it comes out, when it drops, watch it. Try to see it in theaters. Thanks so much for watching. I got a video on Companion coming out probably tomorrow, so hit subscribe. Not tomorrow, 2 days. Tomorrow's gonna be, what's the one? Love Hurts. That's gonna be the one. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.